Hello and welcome to the FHA Insider Podcast, where we sit down with food and beverage and hospitality's movers and shakers to discuss trends, current affairs, and industry buzz. Hi everyone and welcome to today's episode of FHA Insider Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite carb, pasta. So I don't know how many people know this, but there is a whole day honoring pasta called obviously World Pasta Day, and that happens to be on the 25th of October. So personally, I'm super excited because this means restaurants everywhere are going to be doing cool off-menu specials, and in preparation, I've been ramping up my cardio workouts. So have my friends. But okay, enough about me. I'd like to introduce today's guest, Louis Ng, who is the Sales and Product Development Manager at Angliss, overseeing the Dicheco and San Remo brands. So, Louis, thank you for being here with us today.
Hi.
Hi. So, how have you been?
I'm good.
Okay, so we'll just jump right into it then. So pasta has gotten a nutritional update of late with variations such as lentil pastas, brown rice pasta, chickpea pastas, and in particular with San Remo, I've seen this in the supermarkets. So, and I'm just wondering, is this something that has happened because of COVID-19, or has this been around for a while?
Well, it has been around for quite some time though, but under the so-called the nutrition list, these are more of a healthy options. Mm-hmm. So as we all know, the usual pasta are made from this durum wheat, which is more commonly available, and the price point is usually a bit lower than the healthier options.
Right. Okay, and have you noticed any sort of purchasing trends with these healthy variations? Do you think people these days are buying more of the healthy pastas, or that they're still sticking with the good old durum wheat?
Well, the buying trend has been disrupted, I would say, mainly because of the COVID and the rush to do a lot of purchase, storage at home or other stuff. So it's a little bit difficult to underline if there's a grown on this requirement for this healthy option pasta.
Okay. Yeah. On that note about people rushing to buy, so we'll get back to that in a little bit. Just out of curiosity, for all these healthy variations with lentil brown rice, is it made these pastas made purely with 100% brown rice, 100% chickpea, or is it still a blend with durum wheat?
I would say it really depends on different brands though. Some brands are 100% using all this material that you just mentioned. Some does do some mix, I would say.
Okay, so I've personally tried cooking with lentil pasta. I've not tried the other variations. For a consumer who cooks it, what is the outcome like? Does it feel and taste like regular pasta?
It really depends on what sauce you're using and what ingredients is added. In terms of texture, of course, durum wheat pasta would still be a little bit more flavorful, and in terms of texture, you can get that al dente effect over all these other options of healthier pasta, I would say.
Okay. And pasta, it's inherently, it's an Italian thing, right? So I'm just wondering, this is healthy variations. Do you have any idea where it first started, or where it first came from?
You mean the healthier options?
Yeah, the healthier options, the brown rice, the chickpea. Where did it originate? Where did it originate from?
Well, I have no idea on this, but I think it's usually more aware by the European countries, where they are more into all this healthier ingredients option, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. And yourself personally, you're around, you deal with pasta all the time, right? Do you have a preference? Do you prefer the healthier option? When you go shopping, do you buy the healthier ones? Do you just buy the regular pasta?
For me, it's the regular, I would say.
Okay.
I don't do it on a daily basis as what the Italian peoples are doing, but for my choice, I would still prefer to the usual wheat dry pasta.
Okay, cool. So we spoke a little bit about buying trends, etc. what other trends have you personally noticed in the pasta industry, for example? Are there like new variations that coming out that that has not reached Singapore, for example?
Well, I would say the newer range pasta that it's up and coming probably will be the egg pasta range.
Egg pasta, okay. What is that?
Yeah, it's just egg ingredient added to the usual ingredients.
Okay.
So just to give that little bit of texture difference and flavor difference, I would say. But of course, it's, I mean, for those vegan or certain vegetarian consumer, this may not be an option to them, though.
Certainly. And when you say egg is added as an ingredient to pastas, we're talking about like dried pastas, right? Not like fresh or anything.
Dry pasta.
Dried pasta.
No, dry pasta.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. And is this something that's already available in the supermarkets in Singapore? Like I've never seen it, but I mean also maybe because I've not been paying attention.
Retail side is up and coming, I would say, but for food service, yes, we for Angliss we have been pushing out this egg pasta to some of our customers.
Okay, and who are these customers? Are they like restaurants mostly, caterers?
Restaurants, yeah, mostly restaurants.
Okay, and they're purchasing because of the texture difference.
They just want to create new menus on their for the customers, I would say. Yeah.
Have you tried it personally?
Oh yes, of course. We have to do all this food tasting in-house before we even push the product out. So, I mean, for myself, I do buy a few of the egg pasta to do cooking at home.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Food tastings. I wish I could do that with my job. Okay, so just to quickly go back to the point about when you're talking about people buying a lot of pasta. How long does dried pasta actually keep? Because I knew so many people, they were like panic buying, and there's like at one point I remember going to supermarkets and I just couldn't find any pastas on the shelves, like no risotto, no nothing.
Well, it really depends on the ingredient. Like the durum wheat pasta, usually have up to 36 months of shelf life.
Okay.
For egg pasta, it's up to about 24 months. And then potato type related, like this gnocchi, is about up to 12 months of shelf life.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that you could get gnocchi dried in the. You're talking about a dried version or like a frozen?
Yeah, the dried version.
Okay, so what about could you tell me a little bit more about instant pasta? You know, the kinds where it's like a stuffed ravioli and it's in the chiller section in supermarkets. You can just get it and you cook it in like 4 minutes. How does that perform compared to like dried pasta, for example?
Of course, the cooking time is going to be different, because those are almost like freshly made pasta that is being freeze down almost like immediate using IQF method. So it's the moisture content it's much higher than the dry.
Okay.
And also those like ravioli, they do comes with ingredients wrapped in. So the texture, the flavor, the cooking methodology is going to be different from the dry, I would say.
Certainly. For the dried pastas that you guys distribute, are they all from Italy?
Yes, we are currently selling more on the Di Cecco.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which part of Italy is that from? Could you just tell me a little bit about the story about these brands? I mean, I always see these brands in supermarkets, and I never think to like read the little about us story. So it'd be good to hear it from you.
Well, I kind of find the location of the place that is in Italy, it's the HQ of the Cecco. I can't pull up this information right now with me. Yeah, but it's one of the oldest brand in Italy, though. I think it started in 1886, if I'm not wrong.
Oh wow! Okay.
For this brand, yep.
Wow. Okay, they were doing dried pasta in 1886.
It has a long history though. Yeah.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
I had no idea like they had the technology to do that back then.
I mean, it's different, I would say, though, in terms of technology. But the approach of having this dry pasta it has came a long way. Yeah, because it's easier to preserve the dry pasta than fresh pasta.
Certainly. And in your time at Angliss, like, have you seen a rise in the increase of purchasing of these dried pastas? I mean, just imagine like because people are getting busier and busier, so this is something that's like very easy to cook. I would imagine that families would buy it more.
Putting aside the current situation of COVID,
Not counting
before COVID, we do see a trend of people going into pasta cooking though. But again, pasta is not a staple food in Singapore.
Yeah.
So the rise in terms of the pasta consumption it's not huge, I would say.
Okay, sure. And
yeah.
fresh pasta versus dried pasta. Apart from the fact that one is dry and one is fresh, is there any difference in the taste, in the flavor?
It's going to be more on the texture, I would say. If you like your pasta to have the al dente feel, then you have to go for the dry.
Oh, okay. So you can't get al dente from fresh?
It's going to be difficult because it's really soft in a sense when it's being made fresh.
Right.
So and then the cooking time is also very short for fresh because you don't want to overcook your pasta.
Certainly. Oh, okay. I had no idea. I didn't know that. Okay, so what is your personal favorite pasta spot in Singapore? Like when you go out and you want pasta, I'd be interested to know for somebody who's around it all the time and who knows it so well.
Well, I don't have a favorite one though, but I've been to a few. Just to name like Tau Palo at Dempsey, Caruso at this near this 6th Avenue, and I've also tried a Japanese fusion pasta at this Paddy Hills. So these are the few that I would say they do serve some nice pasta.
Okay.
But it's the one I had is actually in Italy, where I had a work trip there about 10 years back. That I was so hooked to the pesto pasta. It was super nice. Probably that has bring up my standard in terms of pasta.
Yeah. Oh man, you're making me hungry. Where was this in Italy?
Well, it's somewhere else. There's a small little town outside Rome. I can't remember that name of that town. It has been 10 years, in my memory bank. So, so it's a little bit difficult for me to take it up.
No.
Yeah, but they serve really nice pesto pasta. Oh my!
Amazing. And it was the sauce that made it so special, right? Or was it like it also must have also been the pasta?
It is. It's the sauce. It's how they cook it. It's that traditional. I would say the traditional cooking method. I would say. Yep. Probably we have missed out that approach, and the love that is being put in during the cooking. I probably miss that. Yeah, that kind of feel in Singapore, I would say.
Yes, yeah, because this place is, I mean, I would imagine this restaurant that you went to is like a small place. It probably belongs to, like, the owner is actually probably like cooking the pasta, and it's like really his own take on the dish, right? So it's more like family. It feels more like a family place than like a commercial restaurant. Yeah,
it's you're absolutely right. I mean, it's so different. The way they do the cook, it's out from their passion. It's out from their love for pasta. So that makes a lot of difference.
All right. Would you say that was your most like memorable pasta dish? Like when someone talks to you about pasta, like that's the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah, it has to. 10 years back, I still remember the taste.
I really wish you could remember the name. I would love to try it for myself. If the
guy I have to dig out. Yeah.
All right, no worries. All right, and I guess we can go to our last question. My last question for you would be: if you could just eat like one pasta dish for the rest of your life, what would that be?
That would be that pesto pasta I just mentioned.
So pesto pasta in particular. I mean, if it's not a place specific, like just a type of pasta dish, would it be pesto pasta or would it be like an
Yeah, it has to be
arrabbiata?
that pesto pasta because it gives me such a deep impression. Yeah, I don't know what kind of pine nuts they use, what kind of basil they used, what kind of extra virgin olive oil they have added, what kind of Parmigiano Reggiano cheese that they have added in, that created that dish that is, ink into my feel for pasta. So that has to be the one.
Nice. So every time you go out to a restaurant now, like, do you always order pesto pasta or do you like try other things? Because I imagine if you order pesto
I
pasta,
did try before pesto pasta in Singapore, but it's almost like every time I order it fails me. So I've stopped doing that.
It must be disappointing, I imagine. Have you ever managed to like have ordered it at some place where you're like, almost there, almost like, it's just quite close but not quite?
That would be at home, I would say. I've been trying my best to get to that taste still.
Okay, wow. Okay, so you think you do a very good pesto pasta. Like, what is the recipe? Like, I would like to try it.
Well, again, it's up to the ingredient. You have to roast that pine nuts to perfection. And then
you roast it over a pan.
Yeah. Then, of course, the basil, the freshness of the basil is important. The type of extra virgin olive oil that you're using has to be cold pressed.
What do you mean by cold pressed?
Yeah, I've tried using unfiltered. It gives that extra punch of flavor though. And then the only thing that I can't get is really good Parmigiano Reggiano cheese in Singapore. I think that probably is one of the shortfall that I can't get as close as I can to the flavor that I remember 10 years back.
Right, and then all of these ingredients you just blend it in a processor and you heat it up very quickly and you toss the pasta in.
It has to be in steps though, so it's a little bit in detail to run it through, but the steps of adding in all this ingredient it's important, and also the cooking of the pasta, the right timing, the right al dente, because I'm using more to spaghetti for this pasta.
You use a spaghetti. Okay, that was my next question. What kind of pasta you use? Okay, so it's a spaghetti.
Yeah.
Okay, and okay, I know I said last question, but I promise this is the last question. Is there a difference like between the different variants, right? Like you have penne, you have orecchiette, you have spaghetti. The cook time, is that always different for the different ones? Sorry,
the question again?
So the cook time between the different types of pastas, like cooking like a spaghetti, between cooking a penne, for example. Like
yes, it does. It does, especially if it comes to the different size and thickness. For example, angel hair is so thin that the cooking time is going to be much shorter than any of the standard spaghetti. So it really depends on the pasta thickness and size, I would say, which is usually written at the back of the packaging, I would say. Yeah. But then for my take is I would take about a minute shorter than the recommended. So it works for me though.
Okay, so like a minute shorter than whatever's written on the box.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's a good tip. I did not know that. I will keep that in mind for next time I make pasta at home. Well, okay, Louis, thank you so much for chatting with us. I'll definitely keep all these tips in mind, Patik, and I will always be on the lookout for a very good pesto pasta every time I go out to the restaurant. I'm very particular.
Yeah, if you find one nice one, tell me. I'll go there and try and I'll update you if you have met my standards.